We are going to cover a few things in Totlin regarding the scenarios and demonstration as well. So, and apart from that, we have few micro gateway question came in last call, and we are going to discuss about them as well. And as usual, we have some open discussion session at the end. So as I mentioned earlier, the last session, we have covered the main things in Totlin. So what is Totlin and Totlin flow and the total data publishing and the features and the concepts of Totlin and total policy applicable levels and many more. So apart from that, today I'm going to talk about Totlin with few scenarios. So let's go to the first scenario. As we all know, the totaling allows us to control number of successful hits to an API during given period of time. So always people need to regulate traffic according to the organization and infrastructure availability. So if you think about such a scenario, so if a developer want to restrict the overall invocation request for an API or number of invocation for resources individually by limiting access for an API or its operations. So in other words, limit access to API by selecting and managing quota for an API. So API manager by default having different total values such as 10K per minute, 20, 50 and unlimited as well. So but how we can achieve a complex scenario such as some company traffic regulations, the API developer want to give rate limiting for particular API resource based on users, organization or business unit. So if you think about company have two units called unit 1 and unit 2. So if company need unit 1 users higher request rate than unit 2 users. So how we can achieve this kind of scenario? So let's go to the demo by looking at how to apply advanced load policy with JWT claim condition. So I have already up and running API manager node. So before running up the node, I did the few changes to the deployment toml. So one thing is I've enabled the JWT claim based totaling as true, and I will enable the blacklist condition as true. And also I will enable the backend JWT as well. So if you need more information about how to enable backend JWT, you can go to this doc. I will share this as well in the chat. So by going forward, after running the API manager node, in my organization, I have different kind of users. So first we'll look at the unit 1 user and unit 2 user. So if you think unit 1 user, that user belong to the organization called unit 1. Unit 2 user having the organization belongs to organization called unit 2. By going forward, if we go into the admin apps, this is the admin portal for the API Manager 310. So I have already created the API called market share. If I go within that API, I have specific resources. These are my resources. So in that resources, I have a specific resource called product consume rate. So what I need is now I need to limit the rate according to the organization user for this particular resource. So let's see how we can do this. So what I need to do is I'm logging to the admin app. So admin app is the place where we can create total policies. So in here we have advanced policy. So by clicking add new policy, I will create a new policy for that particular resource. Let's say market share policy. So the request count we will put as default request count we'll put as 25 and unit time is 1. And now I'm adding a conditional group. So we have 4 conditional groups: IP, header, query param, and JWT. So for this demo, I will use JWT claim condition. So after clicking this, I can enable it by here. So as I talked earlier, so we need to provide claim name and claim value here. So for that, I will use in organization claim as this, and I will put value as unit 1. So, and then I will add it. And for that users, let's say we need 50. So what here we now do is, if user has belong to unit 1 organization, that particular user can request up to 50, and others can go to up to 25. So we can save this. So after saving this, you can see the policies here. If we go to edit, you can see the policy again. Now now we'll see how we can add it to the particular resource. So if we go to the publisher again, and we will refresh it. And we need to make sure we need to add operational level rate limiting level. And let's click the particular resource. And in here, rate limiting policy, now we can see the market share policy we already created. And I added it to the particular resource, and I will save it. Okay, now we have successfully updated the API with particular policy. And now what we need to do is we need to check if it is working or not. For that, I have a JMeter script with me. So let's run it first. Okay. So in meantime, I will log into the dev portal. So I will log into the dev portal as, let's say first unit 2 user, which have lower rate limit. So we need to get an access token for invoke the particular resource, and I quickly, I was already subscribed to that API, and I will quickly generate the access token, and I copy it. Then I have already created a thread group, so we have 100 threads. So in here, what I do is I have a HTTP request for the particular product consume rate resource, and we have the header. So I will paste this new value, and I will save it. And we have 3 result set and the 2 aggregate report. One is for the success and one is for the failure. And let's see what's happening. So, and you can see the HTTP request are starting, and the request is directly going to the product consumable rate, which is exactly this resource. So, and you can see after some time it will total out. So if we go into the particular resource and check the response data, you can see now you have exceed the quota. So if we check the result, you can see the sample is going up to 30. So then let's quickly go to the other user, which is unit 1 user, which we need higher request rate. So I will quickly get a production key for that user as well. And I will clear this. Okay. Okay, and I save it. Okay, so here as well you can see the request count is now going. So we can see we can so in here we can see we can request up to 55. That means the what we need is, so in the unit 1 user more requests than the unit 2 user. So that's the end of scenario 1, and I will quickly go to the scenario 2. So in some scenarios the API developer want to protect servers from common security attacks and abuse by users. For example, if malicious user misuse the system, so tenant administrative user should completely block the request from received from that particular user. So let's see how we can achieve that thing. So if we think about the users in my organization, and there's a blacklist user. So if I need to blacklist this user, what I need to do is, let's again go to the particular admin portal, and within the Kotlin policies we have blacklist policies here, and we can add a new blacklist policy, and we can give any condition type in here. Now I'm giving the user and username as blacklist user, and now this user is blacklisted. And let's quickly go to the developer portal, and log in as that particular user. And I already subscribed to that as well. And let's quickly generate some token. And I'm looking this, and you can see the message source, this message block, and you can't access this resource. And we can simply uncheck this condition to reverse that. So if we uncheck this, let's execute this again, and you can see it's successful. So just check and uncheck this, we can block the particular user. So that's for the scenario 2 and how we can block the particular malicious users. And let's quickly go to the scenario 3. So up to now, I'm discussing about the total policies which apply for the specific tenants or the tenant users. So sometimes we need scenarios, system admin need dynamic rule for specific use cases, which apply not only for specific tenant, but globally, such as if some audit purposes, some come to the company, and some one need to restrict for whole API set for that particular user. So how we achieve that kind of scenario? So we can use custom total policies for that. So again, I will go to this admin portal, and we can add a custom policy. Let's say audit policy. And let's if this is user specific, I will add user ID, and I will already created some query. So if you think this is the user, the custom user, I need to restrict the access. So what I need to do is I will give the user ID as this user's name, and I will give the count only for 5. So that means the per 1 minute, within 1 minute, the particular custom user can only access the particular request only 5 times. So let's save this, and I will quickly log in with that user as well. Okay, I subscribe to this API, and I hope I generate the token already. So let's So let's see how it's work. The first time it's successful. And you can see after fifth time, after fifth successful request, then the sixth one is showing you have exceeded your quota. So that's how we can manage the particular users, and such as the custom users using these custom policies. So that's all about the demonstration about throttling. So if you have more questions, please raise after that. So then we have some discussion regarding micro gateway. So we have Rajit with us. So Rajit, can you continue?
Hi, hope everyone can hear me.
Yes, Rajit.
Okay, hi, I'm Rajit. I'm one of the main contributors to the open source product WSO2 API Micro Gateway. So we would like to revisit some of the questions regarding Micro Gateway from our community call 4. So these are the questions like how we can best migrate Micro Gateway between the environments, for example, dev to test and test to production, and how we can create throttle policies for the local throttling use cases, and is there a way we can have some sort of centralized throttling counting capabilities, and what in which version those are available, and how to configure micro gateway with multiple central traffic managers. So Krishan, could you change the slide? Yeah, thank you. So in micro gateway, what we build is some sort of an immutable runtime artifact or a Docker image. So once you provide the Swagger, we create all the service endpoint URLs and all the dynamic URLs included into that particular artifact or the Docker image, and we burn it to the Docker image, and we create immutable image. So how we can make sure that you use the same Docker image or the runtime artifact created in your dev environment, and you can use it in this testing environment as well. So what we provide is a way to override the parameters which need to be override based on the environment. So most of the thing the endpoint URL is one of key things that we have to override when we are going from the dev to test and test to production. So in the Swagger Open API definition, you can define endpoints using an endpoint reference. So you can define endpoint giving a name, for example here my endpoint, and then refer this my endpoint in your XWSO2 production endpoint as a reference. So when we use endpoint as a reference in the Open API definition, when we are moving from dev to test, and still you can use the same Docker image, and you can override the endpoint URLs, endpoint security configurations, and all the details about endpoints. For example, you can override this endpoint production URL using my endpoint dash prod dash endpoint, then index of the endpoint. For example, this one overrides the first endpoint URL of the open given in the Open API definition. So that's how we can use the same Docker image and manage the same image across the environments. And also the WSO2 micro gateway has a single config file which can be overridden using environment variable or as a command line argument. So based on your environment, you can override any of your environment variables. Okay, let's move to the next question. Yeah, the next question is about whether we can use the throttle policies created in the admin portal. So when we are using the local throttling, that means per gateway throttling, all the throttle policies should be defined in the policies YAML of the project. So every time you create a project using the toolkit, there will be a file called policies YAML. So you can define what are the resource level policies, application policies, and subscription policies you are going to use in your deployment. So these will be applied at the runtime. So when you create an admin port policy in the admin portal, that will not applicable to the local throttling. That will only applicable when if you are using distributed throttling. If you are define an admin portal with specific set throttle policy or specific limit, you need to create the respective policy in the API in the micro gateway policy SAML. Let's say, for example, if you create like 20 per min resource level policy in the admin portal, then you have to define a resource policy in the policy SAML with name 20 per min providing the count, unit name, and the time units. So and also that one question was like whether we support SIDI based policies for the local throttling. We are not allowed users to write SIDI policies and engage them in the micro gateway when we are using the local throttling. I think, Krishna, yeah, thank you. So the next question is about distributed throttling or a central way of maintaining the throttle counters. So we support this with Micro Gateway 3.0. So Micro Gateway can publish data, traffic data to a central traffic manager. So traffic manager take collective decision based on the traffic data published by all the gateways. So it won't be a local counter. It will be a global counter based on the traffic published by all the micro gateways. So when taking the decision, micro gateway can connect to multiple traffic managers in failover manner to take the throttle decision. This is similar to what we have in WSO2 API manager main gateway as well. So it can connect to multiple traffic managers in failover manner. So the micro gateway, it has a limitation which right now it publish the traffic data to a single traffic manager. So what we can do is we can use one of these following approaches to overcome that limitation. So one thing is like we can divide the total limits by the number of traffic managers in your deployment. For example, if you are going to use like 50 per minute throttle policy, then you can define it as 25 per minute and then configure a load balancer in a round robin manner to publish the data to the both traffic managers. So the micro gateway will publish the data to the load balancer, and load balancer will publish data to the two traffic manager nodes in a round robin fashion. So the throttling will work as expected. And another thing is publish in failover manner. So the always load balancer will publish data to single traffic manager. If that traffic manager node goes down, then it'll shift to the next traffic manager. So the limitation of this approach is whenever switch happens to the new traffic manager node, it will have the throttle limits as 0 and it will start from the 0. And another approach is like there are some load balancers supporting mirror support, where it can mirror the same request and send multiple requests to the predefined set of upstreams. So we can for Nginx there is a module called mirror, so we can use those sort of capabilities with the load balancers as well. So I think that's all the questions we have for micro gateway. I think, Prashant, we can move on to the open discussion now.
Thanks, Rajit. So yeah, as usual, we will now move into the open discussion. So if you have any questions, so you can ask now.
Yes. So Rajit, I have one question regarding the micro gateway interceptors. Like when writing Java interceptors, how can we like? So this is something different writing what we have in Ballerina interceptors, right? So can you give some example how we can write on Java interceptors?
Yes, yes, Prabhu, like up to now, like in 3.0 microgateway, we supported writing interceptors in Ballerina. So right now we have given Java interfaces and proper set of helper methods to manipulate the request and response object and do whatever transformations for those payloads and all the other things. So it basically like it just made simple with those predefined set of request and response objects where user can directly manipulate with the helper methods to set and add headers and those sort of things. So we have uh, the Java docs as well. So user can find those Java docs and identify the set of methods available, like set of interfaces and set of objects and classes available to use. So user can directly manipulate the request and response object throughout the flow within the micro gateway.
Okay. So is there a plan to include any other languages so that they can use any language to write interceptors in the future?
Yeah, we have some sort of idea to provide a way like SDK kind of scenarios where we can allow users to write interceptors in multiple languages. So right now, since we are moving towards envoy-based gateway as well, so that's right now it's not a priority at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if you have any question, please raise now. Okay, so seems we don't have any further questions. So I think it's time to wrap up the session. So our next session will be available on 30th April at the same time. So if you need any, if you have any suggestions or any, any improvements, so we need to do, you can add it via the Google form. We will set it with our Slack channel as well. And also you can be touch in API Manager community using Slack, Twitter, and the email as well. So also we will available this session to the YouTube as well within next few days. So hope all enjoy with this today's session. So thank you for the joining the call. Thank you all.